As one chapter ends for SpaceX, another is getting underway, and all while preparing for a flagship mission for NASA. The news that will most likely grab headlines from this week is this: a new 125,000-acre spaceport dubbed Starbase Louisiana. Louisiana Economic Development says SpaceX is set to invest more than $100 billion into the site over the course of a decade. Speaking at the unveiling event in Vermilion Parish, SpaceX President and Chief Operating Officer Gwynne Shotwell says now is the time to make this move, as the company aims for a future where they imagine thousands of Starship launches to support their goals with Starlink, artificial intelligence, and more.
Starbase Louisiana is being designed from day one to support this dramatic increase in launch cadence. By starting with a clean sheet design, we're planning to build a self-sustaining spaceport with its own propellant production, power generation, deep water shipping capabilities, vehicle processing facilities, and probably an airport. And thanks to the abundant resources here in Louisiana, we have ready access to the natural gas that fuels these rockets to get to orbit.
According to Louisiana Economic Development, SpaceX is expected to create 3,000 direct jobs over the next decade with an annual average salary of $92,600. Shotwell says they expect to replicate the model of Starbase Texas and hire 60 to 80% of their workforce from Louisiana.
We need people with all sorts of skills, not just rocket scientists and engineers, but technicians, welders, builders, people that work in restaurants, people that will help us operate the airport and operate the spaceport. Effectively, it takes a small city to run a site. And that's what these will basically be. And as we build, we want to become part of your community.
SpaceX shared an animation of what it envisions the spaceport will look like eventually. That includes 5 launch complexes with 2 pads each, giving SpaceX a total of 10 Starship launch and catch towers along the Gulf Coast, as well as extensive infrastructure to support a cadence that SpaceX founder Elon Musk said on social media will be, quote, more than 30 Starship flights per day. The company aims to begin launching no earlier than 2029 and wants to begin construction in 2027. Shotwell says that begins by addressing the sizable issue of coastal erosion that right now sees between 3.3 and 23 feet lost per year.
Left alone, this shoreline will continue to erode and basically eliminate the beauty that we have. SpaceX is partnering with state and federal agencies to expand Louisiana's coastal master plan, including shoreline protection, marsh restoration, and wildlife conservation. The work includes thousands of acres of marsh creation to reconnect fragmented wetlands and help restore the natural storm buffer that this coast has lost.
Shotwell made a point to address the environmental impact of the massive project. Concerns were raised by groups like the Louisiana Wildlife Federation and others in the wake of a series of environmental statutes that the Federal Aviation Administration is proposing to waive in order to help expedite space development projects. Those would include the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, the Clean Air Act, and the Clean Water Act.
SpaceX is committed to keeping very large portions of this 125,000 acres untouched so that high-value wetlands stay habitat and don't become infrastructure. We will help fund protection, restoration, and stewardship while we build. We'll work with wildlife agencies, landowners, and conservation groups to help reverse the losses from both this natural erosion and careless industrial use of the past. We have a long history of partnership with wildlife refuges to ensure launch activity and wildlife can both coexist and both thrive. At every existing SpaceX launch site, waterfowl, shorebirds, and other local birds have continued to occupy the habitat throughout launch operations, except just the really noisy part. And to be clear, I want to be very clear, we are not developing 125,000 acres of land, just enough to do the work that we want to do and have sufficient outside of that because it's beautiful and it makes people want to be here and happy to work here. Areas near the coast will be developed for launch operations, but we're also preserving the wetlands for wildlife habitat, activities like hunting, fishing, birding, and boating that are a part of this coast's rich culture. In short, we don't want this land just to survive our being here. We want it to thrive while becoming a launch pad to humanity's greatest adventure.
This month, at SpaceX's existing starbase in Texas, SpaceX completed both single-engine and six-engine static fire testing of Ship 41 that's intended to launch the Flight 14 mission no earlier than September. SpaceX plans for this to be the first orbital launch of Starship in program history and may be the first deployment of Starlink version 3 satellites into orbit. The Starship ramp-up comes as SpaceX confirms that activity on its workhorse Falcon 9 rockets is coming down. Following the launch of the Starlink 10-49 mission on August 25th, Kiko Donchev, SpaceX's vice president of launch, confirmed on social media that this was the final planned Falcon 9 Starlink launch from Florida. From here on, Starlink missions out of Florida will fly on Starship. The West Coast team will continue regularly launching Starlink from Vandenberg, Donchev wrote. In the last 7 years, Falcon has flown about 260 Starlink missions from the Cape. Can't wait until we launch that and many more with Starship. But the Cape will continue to see some Falcon launch activity. In the pre-dawn hours of Tuesday morning, SpaceX rolled NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope from the Payload Hazardous Surfacing Facility out to Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Spaceflight Now cameras captured its transit by the vehicle assembly building around 1 a.m. to be integrated with the Falcon Heavy rocket that will launch no earlier than August 30th. And over at Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, SpaceX will launch the Crew 13 mission on a Falcon 9 rocket and Dragon spacecraft Grace. But SpaceX wants to move quickly on this Louisiana site formerly owned by Exxon. Louisiana Economic Development Secretary Susan Bourgeois says the call from SpaceX on this project came on February 5th, 2026. Details of the deal, including any potential tax breaks or legislative concessions, were not discussed at the announcement event. However, in a frequently asked questions page on its website, Louisiana Economic Development said that incentives are, quote, performance-based. SpaceX must meet applicable investment, job creation, and other commitments before earning state incentives, the agency wrote. State agreements include accountability measures designed to protect taxpayer dollars if those commitments are not met.
In the months ahead, you'll see us engage very heavily, me personally as well. I love Louisiana. Holding town halls and finding other opportunities where we can meet and chat and make sure we understand what you are looking for and make sure you understand what we're trying to build. It has been a privilege. My team talks about this site a lot, and it's been a privilege getting to know everybody so far, and we're really looking forward to continuing that. We're very motivated to listen. We want to make this a great project, not just for Starship and SpaceX, but for Louisiana as well. And we're really excited to work on that with you and build this future together.
Reporting for Spaceflight Now, I'm Will Robinson Smith.